Hello, guys. This is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, and welcome to another live feed. What we are doing here is we end eating disorders using nothing but your brain. And it's so fun to have you guys part of the community. Thank you for your comments and your questions. Like, it's so fun to pop on a live feed and just to see all of your incredible, empathy for each other and understanding for the issue, and posting your questions and how you're experiencing eating yourself, and that sounded weird, how you're experiencing your eating in your own life. There you go. And just being able to be part of this community, to not only say, yeah, like, I get it and I understand, but to really be able to fix it together, because this is just about ending it. Like, information never ends your eating disorder. Like, action and knowing how to end it, that's what's so important. And you've probably proven this to yourself. You probably read 100 books on ending eating disorders. You could probably write a book yourself, but that doesn't mean that it fixes the problem. So really, about what we're doing here is about changing your brain to make a permanent change, to be free for the rest of your life, to not manage an eating disorder, but to not have an eating disorder anymore, to not cope with an eating disorder, but to not have an eating disorder anymore, to not be able to navigate an eating disorder, to be able to have food be not a big deal, and look back at your former self and be like, I can't believe that I used to think about food all day. That just seems so foreign. Like, it really is something that I myself have to keep connected with, and with all of the hundreds of people that we've freed, really keep this fresh, because I'm just not that person anymore. Like, I literally do not have the same wiring in my brain that I used to, because I, know and I teach how to change it. And so looking back, you have to remember how you used to be, because the idea of binging, I mean, the appeal just completely goes away. And, like I say, there's nothing as sustainable as doing what you want. And when what you want changes, because you change it at the core issue about, your brain and really those patterns and those habits of thought, like, that's like free. And that is when you get to enjoy freedom for the rest of your life. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So today we're going to talk about a really cool topic, and feel free to pop on, you guys, with any hearts or likes or comments or questions or any of that. I, read all those and I see all those, and just love that you guys are here and part of the community. So I don't trust myself anymore. I just don't trust myself anymore. This is something that we hear all the time, and I absolutely get it. Like, you're not alone in that at all. And I understand where that comes from, just this feeling of not being able to trust yourself around food. And what happens is that turns into not trusting yourself in general. So, you go through your life and you can accomplish so many goals. I mean, there's so much that you've done. You see this track record of success throughout all of your life. I mean, you've built a career, and, you raised a family, and, you're the dependable one, and you're the one that your friends come to when they need something done. And, you're a go-getter, and you're the one who can, break down a goal into smaller tasks and accomplish it. And you're the one who's the first person in your family to, whatever it is, to, graduate from college, or, to have an amazing career, or, to, raise a family, or there's so many things that you're a pioneer in, and that you're dependable, and that you're trustworthy, and anyone would trust you with all of their personal information, or they would come to you, and you're the friend that everyone says, oh my gosh, I know that I can tell you this because you're just so trustworthy. And then there's this thing with food. And you've never stolen money in your life, but you've stolen food from other people. You've stolen your kids' candy. You've stolen your roommate's food. You've had to replace it before they see that it's gone. You've eaten other people's leftovers that you have to now explain what happened. And you've never lied, except when it's to your friend about why you canceled plans. About, oh, you know what, I really don't feel, or, oh, I have so much going on with food, or I have so much going on with work, as opposed to, no, I just binged all day or all last night, and I feel so awful, and none of my pants fit today, so I can't go and keep the plans that I know that you got a babysitter for, but sorry, I'm going to have to cancel last minute because I just made myself too sick to be able to go out with you. Or to your husband, why you don't want to be intimate with him, and you don't want to be close, you don't want him to touch you. You never say, okay, well, it's because I just binged so much because my body feels so swollen that I'm disgusted with myself, so I don't want anyone to touch me. He has to figure out why that might be. But you're making up something else. You've never lied. But, when you tell your children that, oh, you eat healthy because it's important to take care of your body, and then once they go to bed, then you put all the stuff in your own body and you eat all these awful things that you would be horrified if your children ate. You never lie except for those situations, except when you say that, I'll keep a budget. And you totally keep a budget unless you're going through the drive-through again, and you're going through a different drive-through so they don't recognize you and see that you went around again. Hi guys, so fun to see you on. Hello, hello, awesome. So fun to see you guys. And so, you can keep a budget unless it's going through the drive-through again. And it's one of these things that it just starts wearing away at your soul. Hiding wrappers from fast food places in some dumpster in the back of a warehouse store so that your family doesn't see the wrappers and wonder why there's a whole bunch of fast food garbage in the car, because where would that have come from? Mom's a healthy person. It really starts giving ourselves the message that, like, we can't trust ourselves anymore. And it just wears away at us. And we make these promises to never binge again. And we break the same promises every single day for 20 years. Would you trust anyone who broke the same who made a promise to you every single day and broke it by the end of the day for 20 years? Would you ever trust that person? So I totally understand this feeling of, like, I don't trust myself anymore, because when something as fundamental as food feels totally out of your control, no matter how dedicated you are to fixing it, like, I get that feeling. And then you start not trusting yourself to ever be able to fix it, because you've tried every single diet out there and you have always, always failed. And then you start thinking, well, I've always gained my weight back no matter how much that I've lost. So after 20 years of trying, you don't trust yourself to be able to stick with anything, because what are the chances that all of these, every single way of eating, all the 25 ways of eating that I've tried, that they're all the problem? I'm the variable. I'm the one with no willpower. I'm the one who can't be trusted. And I understand how the evidence looks that way, because you start feeling out of control, like an addict. Like, you know what? A heroin addict probably doesn't trust themselves with money. And you don't trust yourself with it either, because you spend it on food when you don't have extra to spend. And now you don't trust yourself with other things. And if you aren't somebody who can keep a chocolate bar in the pantry for 24 hours, why would you trust yourself with more responsibilities at work and that new promotion? And why would you trust yourself to be able to take care of, kids, or be able to have kids and, be trustworthy with them? And why would you be in a relationship with somebody who would want somebody who can't be trusted? So then you end up putting off your relationships. And it turns into, like, just a really awful thing. But here's one thing that our clients say, because I know this feeling of, not being able to trust yourself for 20 years and then really just wondering, like, how could I ever trust myself? And one thing that we hear all the time is, I cannot take one more failure. Because every time that you break your promise at the end of the day, it's not just that you're trusting yourself less, it's that you failed in your new attempts to be able to trust yourself. And they say, I cannot take one more failure. And every time we fail, we trust ourselves less. And honestly, you guys, a lot of our clients get really angry at first, because they see themselves finally being able to trust themselves. And they realize that it was never them all along, that they were set up for failure. They were literally doing things like diets and restriction and just getting more and more information. And those things were actually making the problem worse. And no wonder they were failing, and no wonder they weren't trusting themselves anymore, because they were doing things all along that made it worse, and they never knew that. And a lot of people go through this phase of, like, just being angry that it was never them all along, and that they were essentially in this lie. Like, they were, getting all of this advice, and they were trying all these things that were supposed to fix them, and they were actually the very things that were perpetuating their eating disorder. And that's an understandable feeling. And of course, it's a wonderful thing to be able to trust yourself again. But it's also like that period of anger is a very natural thing. Like so many of us have been sold diets that literally taught our bodies how to desperately store fat and drive up our cravings. The thing that we went to try to control our eating and trust ourselves again taught our body to do the exact opposite of what we were looking for help for. They were told that, they would get better as long as they admitted that they were completely powerless to fix their problem. And then they felt completely powerless to fix their problem, and they didn't get better. They were instructed to accept that they were an addict who would always struggle with food and to try to be able to feel better with food. But now they're just acting like an addict who always struggles with food. And they were told to build a wall out of a handful of water. And then there was something wrong with them when it never worked. It's incredibly frustrating, and it literally wrecks lives. But I just want you guys to know that there is nothing wrong with you. You are to be trusted. Look at how long you have tried. Just look at that, first of all. If you're still here, and if you're still trying to fix this problem, take that as evidence that you can be trusted. Because you're still here, and you're still trying, and you're here in this community where it's about fixing it all the way. And look at how long you have cared. And look at all the things that you have done. And know that it was never anything wrong with you. It was that you were doing things that set you up for failure. And I get it. Like, I was there. Like, I believed those same things. But when you're able to make that shift and do what actually works to fix the problem, instead of take the poison that made you worse and pretend that it's medicine, like, it was never anything wrong with you. You've been set up with an impossible task with so many of the other things that you've tried. So just know, if you have this feeling of like, I cannot trust myself, like there's no way, I can't take one more failure, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? If you feel like you can't trust yourself to make the choice to do what you need to end this, like, you need to be able to keep going, because the alternative is having an eating disorder for the rest of your life. So we talked to an amazing woman the other day. She is now graduated from our program. She is completely free of her eating disorder. But we actually talked to her. She came to us for help. She actually signed up for a free session. We got some really good clarity with her. Like, it was a perfect fit, and she knew what she needed to do. And, it was just such a cool thing. And she was actually in tears, you guys. She was in tears because she just said, I just don't feel like I can trust myself anymore. I don't feel like I can trust myself to make a decision to do one more thing, because I'm so scared that it's not going to work. What if it works for everyone else and not me? Or what if it just doesn't work? And I just can't take one more failure. But then she woke up to this idea as we were getting this clarity that what is the alternative? The alternative is to stay in this eating disorder that is going to continue to get worse and continue to get harder to fix for the rest of her life. And so she made a decision. She made a decision that she was going to start trusting herself, and she was going to see that the problem was actually that most things that she had tried to help actually harm and make the problem worse. You've got to do it differently. If you look back and you say, okay, well, maybe it'll work this time that I go to this club where everyone gets together and everyone just commiserates and everyone weighs in. And maybe if I do that for the 8th time, it'll work this time. Just do a gut check and just look and see, has it ever worked? And know that maybe that's not something wrong with you. Maybe that thing, because it hasn't worked 7 times of doing it, is just not going to work. You've got to do something differently. You've got to do something that you have not done before. You've got to get outside of your comfort zone, and you've got to do the thing that works. And that's exactly what this is about. You have to change your brain on a fundamental level, because, like I said, nothing is as sustainable as doing what you want. So you need to know how to navigate your thoughts and rewire your brain so that your desires are different. You cannot fight your desire to binge eat for the rest of your life. You have to know a way to not want to binge eat anymore, or to overeat, or to hate your body, or, to eat food and throw it up, or to eat food and then exercise a lot the next day, or to eat food and then not eat food the next day, or to call it fasting and it's just another form of bulimia. You've got to know how to break that cycle, because once the cycle is broken, then you're free for the rest of your life. So if you guys want help with that, if you're like, you know what, like, I don't know how to trust myself anymore, and I don't know what to do, and I just feel lost, and I've been trying all these things, that's exactly why we offer free sessions to you guys, to get you on the right track, to get you steady on a few really key things for the foundation of freedom. Number one, you've got to really get clear on what's happening right now. A lot of people are just keeping their head above water, and they're not clear about what's actually happening. You've got to have clarity on that. The second thing that you've got to know is, what does freedom mean for you? You've got to have your brain have an idea of where you're going, because a lot of times we can't even imagine what life is like without this, because it's been so long. And then you've got to know the missing pieces of how to actually fix it and what to do. And if you are tired of doing things that don't work, and tired of, with all your efforts, seeing things get worse, what you can do is you can go to lifewithlydia.com/apply. And what you can do is, when you go there, I said what you can do like 5 times. I'm resetting. Go to lifewithlydia.com/apply. There is a calendar there. We are extremely booked out. I get it. Get on the wait list if you need to. We're going to get to everyone. There's a huge demand for this. I mean, we're extremely good at what we do, and we're offering you guys free sessions. So I understand, like, we are super, super booked, but we are going to open the calendars as much as possible. If you can't snag a spot, then, you know, go ahead and get on the wait list. Mark that on your calendar. Make sure you put a reminder in your phone of when your session is. We will show up for you, and you need to show up for yourself. So that's what you can do if you really want to end this and do things differently, to be able to be free for the rest of your life. So thank you guys so much for being here, and hello, so fun to see you. And yeah, okay, yep. Oh, I love what you guys are saying here, you know, just about, you know, talking to people in your lives, if this is something that you share, and just, you know, so afraid of making another wrong decision. I get that paralysis, right? Of, I can't make another wrong decision, because it feels so, so hard to fail again, to make the wrong choice. But just ask yourself and be real with yourself. What is the alternative? You've got to start making decisions. You've got to start making decisions, but you want to be able to have those decisions focused in a way that is based off of good knowledge, that is based off of what actually works, that is based off of the elimination of what doesn't work anymore, or what has never worked before. And so that's what we're here on the session to do, is to help get you that clarity. And if we can help you, awesome, we'll show you how. Or it might not be a fit, and we'll know where to direct you, because then we have that clarity. But either way, you're going to have that clarity of how to be able to make a decision that is going to serve you best, and we're here to serve you in that. So thank you guys so much for being here. Happy another live feed. And again, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, signing off. Mwah. Bye, guys.